I found out there's different roles, which I'm excited you guys are gonna learn about. So there's software engineering, which is what I'm in right now. There's also data analysts. And I always say that their job is kind of, you'll hear more about it, but at least in my head, it's kind of like they get all this data and they try to build a story behind it. There's project managers. I'll do slightly different things, but basically they're kind of like the bridge between like business people and like the computer scientists, like the programmers, help make decisions. And I'm like, okay, cool. And there was even more. There was a tech consultant, which I recently found out was a thing. And I'm like, okay, so different jobs. That's it, right? And then I found out that even just in software engineer, you can be in different like subsections. You can be in artificial intelligence. You can be in cloud. You can be in you can create like mobile games. You can create websites. You can, what else is there? I talked about the cloud. You can work with networks. How are computers talking with each other? You can be front-end designer. So like what you actually see on the screen, like if you go to a website and see a button, front-end people are the ones that decide what that button looks like, where it is, whereas back-end decides like, okay, if you click this button, what does it actually do? Or you can be full stack where you do both. Like you want to create the functionality of the button, but also like figure out what it looks like. So people were throwing these words at me, data analyst, backend engineer, and I was overwhelmed. And then I also found out they don't even need to be in the tech industry to be in tech, which blew my mind. For example, entertainment industries also need technology. Like think Disney, Disney Corporation, Spotify. Technically, they're under like entertainment industry, not under tech. But they also need software engineers, data analysts, like all these words. If you like Disney.com, someone had to create that. The Disney app, Disney Plus, someone created that. If you go to the, what is it? I'm talking too much, but like I'm thinking the parks, like there's all these like robots and things, like people create that. So that blew my mind, because it's just so vast and the number of opportunities are honestly limitless, which also means you can combine anything that you're interested in, with that. So if you're interested in music, you can find a way to combine that with technology. And there's just like so much things that you can do, which I didn't know existed, and it was really cool. Then now I have like this unlimited like possibility for what my future looks like. Because for now I'm a software engineer. That doesn't mean I'm gonna be one forever. Maybe later on I wanna try being a PM or maybe a tech consultant or data analyst or maybe software engineer, but just in a different subsection. And that's totally cool. And I think that's what I like about technology also, because I change my mind kind of often, and also I grow as a person. So maybe in 5 years I will be in a completely different role, and I think that's really cool. But apart from my tech journey, something else that I really like to share, especially in these types of talks, are what I decided to call my unexpected journey. So again, first generation Latina, so a lot of these words were new to me. My first semester, I had this giant like rose pair of glasses. Everything was sparkling because I was the first in my family to go to college. So everything was like glowing basically. It was around my second semester where that like rose colored kind of started fading a bit, and I could actually start, experiencing some things. And then yeah, like one day, just remember I was walking around my classroom and noticing that there weren't that many people that looked like me. And that didn't sit right with me, really. So I was like, this can't be true. There has to be more like women in this field. There have to be more like Latinx people in this field. I'm gonna go find them. Like, where are they? I'm looking. And I started getting involved with student orgs at my university, one of them being Hacks, which I talked about, which honestly still has my heart. I love that org so much. There was, oh, you can see them right here. Hacks. There was also ABCS, the Association of Black Computer Scientists. Behind me, you can't see it, but there's WICS, Women in Computer Science. And recently they added Q++, which was for the LGBT community, which was super cool. So I got very involved with that, but that wasn't enough for me. I was still wanting to help. So then I got involved with fellowships. Like I was part of Management Leadership for Tomorrow, or MLT, which was a whole thing trying to create future leaders from underrepresented groups. And that helped me grow a lot, especially in like soft skills, because classes taught me a lot of like actual coding, but how to communicate and do all these things. That was more MLT. I joined Rewriting the Code, RTC, which is an online community for women. And today, actually, they have a cute social in Seattle. So I'm going to go and just like meet more people in the community. So there's like all these opportunities that I saw. And honestly, when I do things like this, I think of my sisters and my cousins. I am not only first generation, I am the oldest. So I honestly, one time one of the cousins that's like next in line, I guess, told me that he was going to study computer science, and right now he's at UTD. And the day he told me, I almost started crying because I was like, this is so great. Of course, I'm not gonna take the full credit, but I choose to believe it did help. And he did say, he's like, it's cool that seeing like what you were doing and that he was inspired to study it too, because he was also interested, and that made it seem a little less scary. And I'm like, beautiful. So I think about them and about just other people of like, honestly, if you look at the numbers, they're low. If I like just at UT Austin, that I think it was like 11% of the computer science department students were like Hispanic, Latinx, like less than like 30-ish% were women, and I think like 4% were Black. So it's like the numbers were low, and they don't exactly get much better in like once you go full time and get in jobs. So I don't like that. And I'm like, there are so many wonderful and amazing people out there in like the Latinx communities and like the women community that like there's no reason for them to not be here. So that's why I'm kind of here talking to you. I truly believe in this, and it's something that I love helping with. And I call it my unexpected journey because I did not expect to be very involved with diversity and inclusion, but here I am, and I really enjoy it. I do it in my free time. Yeah, love this. So also with Noble, that I will talk more about them, and they're the reason I'm here because we're going to do a coding workshop from them. So now I'm volunteering with them because I love their mission. So finishing up on my story, so we can get started on the actual coding part of the night. My advice to y'all, you are never too late to start. Again, I didn't even start coding until college, and even then, I still consider that early, to be honest. Try and find what you're passionate about and follow it. If you told like elementary, middle school, even high school America, what I would be doing right now, like volunteering for Nuevo, taking time out of my day instead of like napping to be doing things, I would be like, no, it doesn't sound like me, but here I am, and it's something that I'm so passionate about. And it was because I followed my passion of technology, which led me to this other passion of like helping people come into this world. And lastly, just stay curious and don't be afraid to ask questions. So again, first generation, and then also for some reason, like especially high school, I feel like they were really against people asking questions. Like if you went to tutorials, you were kind of seen as like, oh, you're not smart. Or if you were asking like questions for the teacher, it's like, wow, you don't understand. And it's like, that's not how the real world is. Especially like college especially taught me that like if I'm not asking questions, you can get behind so easily. Like if you don't understand the first concept, you will be very confused the second, and so on and so on, and then you're just lost, and then that's when people start leaving. Versus honestly asking questions, it can be it can seem like a simple task, but it can require a lot of courage too. So to take in the courage and tell the teacher, hey, you know what, I actually have no idea what you said today in lecture. Can you please explain that for me a little easier, or explain that again? And people have been extremely kind and like very willing to like explain things. Even right now as a full-timer at Microsoft, like I thought similar things, but then they told me the opposite. Like one of the things that like senior software engineers told me, my managers told me, at first when they would explain like, okay, this is your new project, and like here's like the rundown. At first I wouldn't ask questions because I had a huge imposter syndrome, something else that I like to talk about, very real. I had it all throughout college. I still have it now. The only way to get past that is to remind yourself that you are like, I don't know if I can say the word, that you are awesome and that like you belong there and like you worked hard to be there. But even then you can get in your head, and I've gone through it many times. So when I started at Microsoft as a full-timer, I was scared, and I was like, imposter syndrome. So they would show me my new projects and I wouldn't want to ask questions. And in fact, the feedback I got back was, why are you asking questions? That makes us believe that like you're either not paying attention or you truly don't know what's going on, and that's going to cause an issue. Because if you don't know what's going on, how are you going to work on this project? And that changed my mindset too. So I'm like, okay, like if anything, I kept asking questions, and I would even ask like silly questions. And I'm like, actually, what does that acronym mean? What does this mean? And now feedback after continuing asking for about a year now, feedback that I've received is like, you are like so great. Like you are on top of things. You always ask amazing questions. Or there'll be like code reviews, and sometimes they'll be like, I don't understand this part of the code. And I think, and in my head before, I would have thought like, wow, she doesn't understand. Ugh, she's like not smart. But now they're like, oh my God, your reviews are amazing. They like, we love it when you review code because you're just giving amazing feedback. Meanwhile, I'm just confused. I'm like, I genuinely just didn't know what they were doing, so I asked. But that has been like a big flip for me since like high school, middle school to college and full time of just like, please ask questions. Like it will seriously make a huge difference. So I will stop there and start into the coding part. I see that Bea's here. Hi, Bea. Happy you've made it. But if y'all have any questions, I will try to also leave time at the end to help answer them. So, because I know we're kind of going fast right now. Okay. I thought I clicked. Okay. No, so the coding part, I'm very excited. Hopefully I won't mess this up. But the team, hi, I already spoke, so I'm gonna let Bea introduce herself.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Bea, and I'm just going to be in the chat. This is America's show, so I'm just going to be like a wallflower. Any questions that you might have that America is explaining or going through any code, just pick me directly or everyone, and I'll try my best to make sure that you get some help so we can continue with the code. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bea. But yeah, she's helping me in the chat just so I can, like, you guys, we're here to help. Like, if we say things that are confusing, again, please ask. We are happy to help. So yeah. Really quickly about Nova Foundation, our mission is to inspire kids to be curious, confident, and courageous by discovering the world of STEM. A mission that speaks a lot to me, which is why I'm here. I'm happy to be here. And again, Nuvi, our mascot. So, okay. I'm gonna paste this in the chat, but if you could please go here. We have a QR code, but I don't know if that would help with your computers. Let me see if I can also get it over here. Super good. Perfect, he got it. But today we will be learning Python using our workshop. Wait, it says ear sketch. That's the wrong one. Yeah, it's embarrassing. We're doing Python turtle. My bad. I thought I went over these. To everyone. Python turtle.
Oh, there. She's putting it in the chat. Okay, good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry, it's in the chat. Ignore that one. We're not doing ear sketch. Let me escape. So I'll go there. This one. Python turtle. Python coding with turtle. That's what we will be doing today, and I'm very excited. Everyone, please give me a thumbs up whenever you are on this website. I will be going through the tutorial. We're going to ignore the videos because I'm here live, but I will be going through the tutorial with everyone, and hopefully at the end, we'll have a beautiful thing. We will not be able to get through everything. As you can see, there's a lot here, but I just wanted to say, if you go to our website, so like if you normally just go here and go to workshops, all of these are completely free and completely available to everyone at all times. So if we don't finish and you're like, that was pretty cool, hopefully you think it's cool, and you want to continue, you are able to do so. Or if later on you're like, hey, I think my sibling or my teacher or whoever else would find this interesting, feel free to share this website. Like, it is here for y'all and free completely. So wanted to share that. Okay, we got 2 people are good. I need a few more acts or like yeses. I like how Bea is singing.
Sorry, like I'm at a Starbucks, and so like they're playing like a Chicago song that I love. So sorry, I forgot I'm on camera. I apologize.
We're Chicago. We like Chicago.
I know. Okay, another good. That's 4. Emily also said good, so that's 5. I think that's almost people. I think we're still waiting on 4 people. Let me see. Yeah.
And I just want to add that if you speak a different language, if you prefer, if you scroll up to the top, America, there's a toggle for you to put this in Spanish in case you need it. You don't have to, but I just want to let you know.
There's also, this one only has Spanish and English, but click. We are working on adding a lot more languages, just so everyone's aware. So some of them, you know, French, there's 1, but we're working on this. Portuguese, there's 3. So just so people are aware. Spanish, I think, has the most. But yes, good catch. Thank you, Bea. Okay, Amy, Nicole, I think Mana said it. Brisa, Monica, are y'all good to go? Is everyone on this website? I don't want to leave anyone behind. Nicole said yes. Amy, Brisa, Monica. Amy said yes. I'm just listening on. My name might not even be Brisa. Brisa said yes. Monica? Cool. Okay, cool. Let's get started. So the story behind these, all of our workshops have a little story behind them, just so we can follow along and it's not just like, here, write this code. But welcome to the Nuevo Beehive. You are right on time to help our new baby bee, Alex. This is Alex. Alex lives in a country named the Turtle Islands. Residents of the Turtle Islands speak a language called Python, which is what we're learning today. We're going to use Python to teach Alex how to live in the beehive. Are you up for the challenge? In this tutorial, we will learn how to use Python to help Alex become a busy bee. So, get started. Again, we're going to skip the videos because I am here. Okay, you don't need to do anything right now. Just listen, but we're gonna do something in the next one. This is very like interactive. So in order to help Alex be like in the beehive, he needs to have a honeycomb. So that's kind of like our main goal. We're gonna create a honeycomb for our friend Alex. We're gonna use Python's turtle library in order to draw this honeycomb for Alex. So we're gonna be using this thing called Trinket. Right now you don't need to do anything, but we will in the next one. But just some example or like some basic words. And again, if this is confusing, please let us know. Beth's also here to help. You can put it in the chat or message her directly if you want to send it to everybody. But we're here to help. But as you can see, okay. Question? No? Okay. As you can see, we have this thing called main.py. This is our main file that will contain code. So right now we're not doing anything, but in the next one we will. This is where we're going to start writing our code. By pressing this run button, this won't do anything because there's nothing here yet. You'll be telling the computer to do like instructions that you tell it to do. Something the computers do is they will do exactly what you tell them to do. This is a thing that I remind myself often because you'll get frustrated and be like, why is this not working? And then my friends and I will joke about it. We're like, well, it's doing literally exactly what you told it to do. Like computers cannot read your mind. They will do exactly like word by word what you did. So there's pros and cons to that, especially if code isn't working and trying to figure out why. Yeah, so any results will come in here. Right now it's empty as you can see, but like we're gonna see results here. Just kind of letting you know what you were seeing. So I talked about this thing called the library, right? At the very top, you see this thing that says import turtle. So what this is doing, it's importing the turtle library. Yes, it's a library. Think of it like, it's a joke, but not really, that we say computer scientists or software engineers, we're pretty lazy. If we do not need to do extra work, we don't see the reason to. So for example, the turtle library is something we can just say, hey, this exists. I would like to use it. Because if not, I would have to write all of that again from scratch, and that's too much work. That is like spending time on what we don't want to do. That is just too much work. We don't want to do that and we're lazy. So we're like, you know what? It exists. Let me just use that. So that's what we're doing right now. We're saying import turtle. I want to use this turtle library. And okay, last thing. Here you see this is green. This is what we call comments. So it's not really doing anything, but it's mainly to help us read or understand what's going on. A lot of your code has comments, or else you can get very lost with things. And for every coding language is slightly different in how they do this. So for Python, they use a hashtag. So that's cute. That's how we write comments. Questions so far? I'm just trying to help right now explain what you are seeing on the screen. We haven't started the activity yet. Okay. And again, if you do, feel free to put it in the chat or raise your hand. Okay, let's get started. Actually, I think right now we're still learning some basics. Okay, a few more explanations just so we're, well, actually, no, we can do stuff. Oh, sorry, that's confusing. Also, is my screen, can y'all read my screen? I can also make it bigger. Like, is it okay?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, cool. I know before sometimes it's like really small and then you can't read anything and that can be confusing. So, yes, correct. Hashtag is not code. It's just, think of it like a sentence. So it's, a lot of times I think of it like reminders for myself or for other people. Like if others were to have to quickly go through my code, or if I'm needing to go through code, comments help me figure out like, hey, you know, like this is kind of what you're about to do does. Or it's like to help you understand what's happening. But no, it's not code. Sorry, Okay, so right now we're gonna do some basic coding. We're gonna start our first line. So right now we imported the turtle library, so I'm gonna copy and paste it because lazy. Paste. All of this has also cost me issues before, so it's not always the best thing. One of my software engineers teachers would be yelling at me if he saw that I was copying and pasting code. But hopefully this is easy enough. Right now what I'm telling it is saying, hey, turtle, the turtle library, it has a method called color. So a method is right here, turtle color. Color is a method. A method, I don't know if I want to read this line by line, is something, or it's also called a function sometimes. Method / function is just something that helps you, like a piece of code that says, helps you do an action. So again, like this already exists. The color method already exists. What this one specifically is doing is it will help us pick a color. So we added this orange, which is a parameter. I know there's a lot of new words here. Hopefully this is helping. And I can go slower or faster if that helps. Let me try to have, okay, there, we can see everything here. Okay, so the method color, method as in like we're gonna do an action. We need to kind of help it figure out what action to do. So we give it this parameter. We're like, okay, we want this color to be orange. And if you notice, you might say, like, oh, why are there little quotation marks next to it? And that is because this is us telling the computer, hey, what you're about to read is a string. A string, somewhere here, is just like a word. It can also be sometimes a sentence, but normally it's just a word. So if we don't put, like if I put run, you see this little arrow that's now orange. Now we can start breaking things because again, computers will do exactly what you tell it to do. It's also, I call them like not smart, as in like, it's not gonna, I can't think. So I took away the quotation marks and it freaked out. It's like, oh my God, you are speaking an alien language to me right now. I have no idea what you're telling me to do. I am so confused. In your head, you might be like, I literally, like, it's just a quotation marks, but the computer doesn't know that. So let me add it again. And again, you guys feel free, like it's interactive. Y'all can play around with this too. If I give this some other random thing, if I'm like, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, it freaks out again. Oh, no, I guess it's black. I think that's because it might have a default color, but I can change this to red if I wanted to. And there she is, red. So what we're doing is we are using the turtle library. So again, like giant thing of code that already exists that we're not creating. We're just using it because, why create it from scratch if it exists? And from that turtle library, we're using a specific method called color, which is just like an action. And in order to be able to do that action, we need to tell it kind of what to do. So we gave it this parameter, orange or red. I think purple should work too. Purple, let's see. Yeah, it recognizes purple. So questions so far is maybe, okay, I see things in the chat. I think that's helping. But again, there's things here. So in case y'all wanted to come back and like read it again, this is here for y'all again, always ready and free. So we're gonna, in the interest of time, keep going. But if there's questions, please let me know. Yeah, arguments. Oh, sorry, it's also called parameters. Arguments. I learned Java first. Thank you, Bea. I don't know if you said that. Arguments / parameters, same thing. My apologies.
Or methods and functions, also same thing. It just depends who you ask, but they act as the same.
Yes. Something that I like to share also is there are many coding languages. You do not need to learn all of them. I think it would actually be impossible for you to. But what I like about them is like the coding logic stays the same. So I learned Java, and now in my work I'm learning C#, and right now I'm teaching y'all Python. And the logic is the same. It's just normally like little like words, or like how they do like different like, what's the word, like syntax, how they form their code that changes. So like arguments versus parameter, same thing. Methods versus functions, same thing. But again, depending who you ask, different answers. Okay, so I think that's the answer. It's supposed to be there. We can also do more than that. So I'm gonna again copy and paste this. And if we add it here, now we're using another method called forward. and saying 50, go forward, 50 pixels. So again, if we just say go forward, it's gonna say, okay, now what? Like, you want me to do something, but like you didn't tell me how. So we're saying, okay, go forward by 50. If we hit run, that's exactly what it's doing. I'm gonna do it again. So we said be orange and please go forward 50. That's what she's doing. Boop, boop. Integers is just a fancy word for numbers, normally just whole numbers, so like 50. If it was 50.5, that's what we call a decimal. So again, gonna try to go this a little fast, but questions, so, well, okay. I'm gonna go to the next activity, just in the interest of time, because that's gonna help us too. So I'm gonna go to the next one. I'm gonna creep down, I hope there's no answer. Okay, cool. I was scared, I had already had the answer there. This is where the activity part comes in. Knowing what we just learned, using the method shape for turtle, I can run this. Now we have a little cute turtle here and color, and we also learned method here forward and the method left. I'm gonna give everyone like 5 minutes probably to try and draw a square. At the end, I will of course be doing this with y'all and giving the answer and explaining my thought process. But right now as the activity, I'm gonna give y'all about like, let's say maybe 5 minutes. So I got 4:44, maybe 3 minutes. 3 minutes because of time to try and do this on your own. So right now, see if you, knowing what we learned, if you're able to create a little square. And then give me like a little like thumbs up or a good or something in the chat so that I'm aware if people, like if you were able to. So again, so far what we have right now, we are in activity -1, by the way, in case you know we got lost. But we're using the shape method to say, hey, I want my shape to be a little turtle, and here she is. And the color method to say, and I want it to be orange. So that's all that we've told the computer to do. So here you can start writing. So I'm gonna just say code. I'm gonna do a hashtag. That's what I told y'all. To try to make the turtle go forward and left to make a square. And again, when you're done, please let me know so we can continue doing more fun shapes. Okay, Jimena, nice. Okay, I'm getting good.
And America, just to say, when you and I talked about there's different language, there's Java, Python, all these different things. I pick Python personally because I think Python is, you can read it in English, it makes more sense. It's not as encryptive as some of the other ones. So, and Python's really popular now with a lot of the data professions. So anyway, Python is something that I think it's easier to pick up personally, and I'm being biased here, than some of the other ones.
No, yeah, that's something Python gets a lot, that you can read it like English.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people like learning it. And yeah, it's turtle shaped turtle. So hopefully it's not too confusing. But again, if it is, I'm more than myself and Bea more than happy to help. Okay, we got most goods. So I'm gonna start doing this slowly. I think that's about half. Okay, I'm getting it, and I'll explain my thought process. A lot of times code is not as tricky as you think. Even now, sometimes I start overthinking or getting in my head and I'm like, oh my God, this is so complicated. I don't know where to even start. And then we just try to take a deep breath and say, okay, step by step. So we gave y'all instructions. So we're like, okay, first step is go forward by 50 steps. So we have this method. I'm gonna copy and paste it. I can literally hear my computer science teacher like yelling in my ear, but it's okay. We say, okay, go forward 50 steps, and I hit run. Cool, he did it. Okay, and then we said, oh, if you turn 90 degrees, like things would be cool. So I'm okay, turtle left. I'm gonna press enter. If I do this like next to each other, it freaks out. It's like, again, it's like, oh my God, you're speaking an alien language to me. I do not know what you're talking about. So I'm gonna press enter and make a new call. I'm gonna say, okay, 90 degrees, go left. That's what she's doing. Okay, so turtle forward, and then if you notice, the turtle turns 90 degrees. And then I see like, oh, hey, okay, I get it. I see a pattern. We keep doing this. I'm like, okay, cool. Turtle, do it one more time, do it one more time, do it one more time. And I did that too many times. Okay, think it worked. And here she is, my square. Hopefully everyone is there. I will stop here for a little bit just so you guys can see the code that I did, but we were able to do a square. So that's good. And also congratulations to y'all on being able to write Python. Y'all just wrote Python. So just congrats. Not as scary as it seems.
Wow.
Okay, so again, interest in time, I'm gonna continue. So now we're like, if you notice, you might say, well, America, this seems repetitive. Like you just copied and pasted this a lot of times. And yes, it is. So again, we are lazy. We do not want to do this. So we created this thing called loops. Basically means things inside the loop will be looping, so doing it over and over again, however many times you tell it to. So let me try to read this in English and hopefully things make sense. So we're saying, and there's a lot of words here, but I'm just gonna, okay, so we're saying for I, and you might say, okay, what's I? I is simply just like a variable. It's like in your math classes, you know, like you're searching for X. X is just like a number. You might not know what the number is, or Y. That's kind of what I is here for coding. It's just some number. We might not know exactly what it is yet, but it's just some number. Think of it like X. For I in range 3. This is how Python chose to write their loops. Again, every coding language is slightly different, but something that they all have is they do have, well, not all, maybe not all, most have is a way to like do loops or like do code repetitively. So this is what this is. So this is how Python decided. For I, some number, in range 3. This is saying like do this 3 times. And says move this turtle forward 50, and then this should be indented, I believe, and then also make it turn left 120. So if we run this, we get a triangle. We just said for I 3, so like do this 3 times. I said go forward 50 and turn left 120 3 times. More coding parts about it is basically this has like a little counter, and it kind of knows like, okay, like when it hits 3, it knows to stop. So computers can be smart in that way. So we're doing this. So now my task to y'all is know what we know. Can you turn this triangle into a square? So that is the next activity. And again, if once you're done and you're able to do it, please say good in the chat or give me a thumbs up or something so that I know. But that's what we're trying to do right now. We created a triangle using the loops. So now we want to use the knowledge we gained about methods, parameters, loops, to make this triangle into a square. Yeah, let me know when you're good, and I will also do this and help you all. Okay, cool. Some people are speeding through this. Beautiful. Basically, yes. Okay, that's 4. Okay, 5. I'm gonna start going through my thought process. So what do I know the difference between triangles and squares? Again, for a lot of these things, they're basic questions, but good to go through them. I know that squares have 4 sides versus triangle have 3. So that kind of tells me, okay, maybe this 3 should be a 4. Like I should do something 4 times. And if I hit run, like, okay, am I done? If I hit run, it's like, no, like I'm not. So I'm like, okay, wait, I know this code. We said go forward 50. Sure, that's fine. But I still know triangles have like the 120 degrees. So I know squares have 90 degrees. So here we go. I said, please go forward 50 times and then turn left like 90 degrees and do this 4 times. And this was able to make us do a square. Wow. Okay. And so everyone, does that make sense for everyone? Yes. Okay, awesome. And again, this goes far, so we're able to do a lot of more interesting shapes, but we got to get the basics done before we can start doing more fun things. So again, interest in time, I'll continue. And I think this might be the last one. Well, we'll see. We'll see. You guys are going pretty fast, actually. This is a great job. Again, you guys are coding Python. Like, you are doing amazing. So you were able to do the Python turtle. So we're trying to work our way up to making an actual honeycomb. So if you know, honeycombs have like things are hexagons. So now there's even like, this is the code we did for triangles. So again, same thing. If you can make this into a hexagon, that's our next activity. And let me know if you're done, and if so, we can continue moving on because there's like, where is it? Like you can make a mandala through this. It's pretty cool. I don't know if this is recent. I copied the code that they gave me, and it's still just a triangle. So we're trying to do the same thoughts, but now make a hexagon. Because again, we want to make a honeycomb eventually. So let me know when you guys get through this. Right. This will make you think a little bit more. Basically, and the first time I did it, it made me think a little more, and I was like, wait. Okay. Eaters, I see it. I see y'all. Cute. So we have 3 good. No rush, by the way. Hoping I'm not trying to like rush anyone. Okay. Okay, I think it's about most people. So again, explaining my thought process, hexagons. I'm like, okay, like I learned from squares. Cool, 6 sides. Perfect. And again, this is just gonna do this triangle twice. But if after doing some calculations and after looking at our little cheat sheet, I know that should be 60. So we have a hexagon. Oh wait, I need to do this 6 times. Why did I write 5? My bad. But see, we're testing. Y'all just saw me figure out a bug and we tested in real time. Like, it's all learning. We're all learning. A year in Microsoft and I don't know my 5 from my 6. It's fine. We're cool. So we build a hexagon. I think now we can do a bit more. This is so much. Okay. Bea, I'm gonna have you help me. Do we have time to like for me to do this one?
I think so. Yeah, because it's the function on top of the hexagon, so the draw line. I think it should be fine.
Okay, cool. Okay, we're gonna learn about functions. So we've kind of been using them, but we are going to now create our own functions, also called methods. So again, we've been using things, so like these are methods / functions, forward, left, but what if like that's simply not enough? Like you have this idea, you wanna make it come alive, because not everything already exists, so you wanna make this new thing exist. You can create your own functions. The way Python chose to do this is they have def, I believe that's like, yeah, definition, function definition. So they just say def, again, lazy, short and sweet. Draw line is simply the name that whoever programmed it, like for example, right now you guys, y'all decided to call it. So normally, again, we try to have these names be straightforward. If you just say def, and start typing whatever, you're going to be so confused later. Speaking from experience, try to make this like very straightforward. Straightforward. So where's my, okay, that's a lot. Okay, no. Okay, so all that this does is it goes forward 50 and it turns left 120, draw a line. The reason for functions is a lot of times you would like, again, you want to do different things. So here, someone said, you know what, I'm drawing many lines. Let me simplify this. So that was the way of simplifying this. These are material parameters. Okay. Function definition. And then here is how you actually call it. So you might say, okay, I created this function, this method. We're going to say function, that's what they're saying. I created this function, draw a line. Just by creating it, that's simply not enough. You kind of need to actually say like, oh, like right now it just exists. So congratulations, you know it exists, but you need to actually like use it. And you can use it many times. So here, this is how they're calling it. And if you notice, this example is even using like the little hashtags for comments. So you are able to put comments in the same line as code, and the computer is able to understand that like this is not meant for it. Like this is like, okay, this is not meant for me, I'm gonna just skip it. But it helps us. So here it's like, okay, like it's explaining that this is defining the function, and here it's explaining that this is calling it as in like just saying, like literally, hey you, come here, like we're gonna use you kind of thing. That's how I think of it in my head. Let me make sure this is not the answer because I don't know, I'm scared. Okay. Draw hexagon. Okay, so this activity, or like I think that will have to be our last activity, but as you can tell, there's a lot more you guys can do. Is we want y'all to create your own function. So hopefully this is enough information. I will also be doing this in a minute, like when explaining my own thought process. But right now you can see we are trying to call the method draw hexagon. The computer is confused. It's saying error. Normally errors lines can be helpful. Sometimes they're not, but normally they are. So this is saying, hey, draw hexagon is not defined. They're like, and it even tells you like on line 10, which is also helpful. In this file, it's saying you are trying to call something that does not exist. Why would you do this to me, kind of thing. So what you can do, right here, I believe, try, like with the knowledge that we've gained, to create your own function called draw hexagon, to draw the hexagon like we did in the last method. So we're combining everything. We're combining calling things like forward and color. We're combining using loops. We're combining also now this new knowledge of like, hey, I can create my own function. I don't need to just use the ones that already exist to create a function called draw hexagon to make things a lot easier. So hopefully I haven't lost anyone, but I know the time's also running out. So I'll give you about a minute or two to try, and then I'll try to explain my own thought process on this. But this will have to be the last activity, sadly. But then I'll explain more things that you can do.
But that's good because students now have the website and they can, on their own, try different things on their own, right?
Yes, exactly. And again, we try, where's my mouse? We try to have all these helpful tips so that people can go through this alone too. So hopefully this is all helpful. But current activity, please let me know when you are done. If you need help, I'll also explain my own thought process here in a bit. But yes, just trying to make this math function exist. Apologies that I keep calling it a method. That is what I learned. Okay, Nicole got it. Perfect. Cool. Amazing. And again, like Beth said, you can keep going. You know, there's so many more things you can keep going. Like I know some people are just speeding through, and you can. That's fine. In another minute, I'll start explaining it on my own because we're running out of time. Okay. I think Nicole, I think other people are still thinking, but again, for time, I will just start explaining this last one. So again, me being lazy, I'm like, okay, cool. This exists. I know it's wrong, but it exists. It's the one that Noble gave me. Although this is okay, I'm not even calling it. So it's super wrong. Actually, no, I'm gonna create this on my own. Let me not copy and paste this time. So I know that I need to make a definition, right? Def short. Look, it's even purple, which kind of tells me like, okay, cool, I'm on the right place. Called draw hexagon. So this I'm gonna copy and paste so that I don't misspell anything. And then I'm noticing here the little syntax. It likes to have a colon. Again, computers can be very, very picky about these things. And that sometimes can be a little annoying because you might be like, it's so small, why is it important? But for computers, it can be very important. So, okay, we say draw hexagon with a little colon. Then I know from our previous activity, we want to do this for 6 times. So I'm like, okay, that tells me I should probably do a for loop. So kind of similar to that example. So we say for I again being some number, like X in math, in range 6. There. And it also wants a colon, as I can see from this example, like, okay, there's a colon there. And if you notice, and not only do I press enter, but this automatically also moves it. So it's like a tab. So Python can be tricky, not tricky, but like also picky, and like tabs matter. It lets the computer know what's like inside and what's not inside. So this automatically did enter and tab because it understood like, okay, they want this to be inside, but sometimes it doesn't do it automatically for you. So just kind of heads up. But I'm like, okay, and then from our past thing, and also I'm looking at our cheat sheet, we want to do turtle.forward. So calling this method forward. And then I know that we want to go forward. I think it was 50 pixel. And I want to say, you know, turtle dot, what is it? Right, 50. That's how you make a hexagon. So now I finally created this method. Sorry, this function. I'm so sorry. This function. I finally created this function. I have defined it, and now I'm trying to call it and see if I messed up. I did, because I did 60. That is so funny, I haven't seen that. There you go. That's a hexagon. That's what I wanted to do. Hopefully this is not too confusing, but really quickly, like super quickly, because we're out of time. If you were to continue this, you will learn how to use that method, that function that you just used called made, to do this, and then you can call it multiple times, and then you need to do a bit more math in order to figure out like, okay, how many times were you starting, and that's when you get to actually like play around with it. You can even do some really cool stuff like creating a mandala flower. So coding can go from as simple as creating a line, making it like a color, to creating this beautiful thing. We do not have time to do this right now, sadly, but like y'all can do this again at home or any other time. Like there's so many things that you can do. So I just wanted to say that. And before we get going really quickly, if y'all could please fill out this feedback form. It really helps us. Oh, thank you. Wait.
So I put 2 links because America did 2 things. So for virtual session, it's a different link than the coding lesson. For coding lessons, there's going to be a question that's going to ask you for the name of the event. So you can just put week October event or week October. Yeah, that way you know and we know.
Yes, and then lastly, I want to do a group photo like I had promised. So if you would like to be in this photo, please turn on your cameras. I tried giving a heads up. But also please fill out this feedback form. It helps me understand, it helps myself and Nuevo figure out what was helpful, what was not. If you're like, wow, America really did not know what she was doing, she didn't know the difference between 5 and 6, let us know. And then back and be like, America, wow. And I'll be like, I'm so sorry. Or things like that. It just helps myself and Nuevo also next time for whenever I'm doing this to just be better. Thank you. And again, Emily, Nicole, Jimena, Risa, if you guys would like to be in the photo and turn on your camera, I'll also count down.
Don't be shy. Come on.
Yeah, I'll try to make this. Okay, I'm gonna expand this.
I guess you can stop sharing the slides if it helps, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have many things, so no worries. I will continue sharing it. Y'all can see it. And then I can see it. We'll be fine. Okay. And Nicole, if you don't want to be in the photo, that is okay. But just letting you know, kind of last call to be in it. Cool. So I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna count to 3, and I'm gonna take a few photos just in case people blink. But ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, cute. Thank you, everyone. Please fill out this feedback form. I hope y'all had fun and learned how to code. And again, this is here for y'all. Let me share this. If you want to know more about Nuevo, you can go to our website, nuevofoundation.org. We have an Instagram too, at Nuevo Foundation, or you can even contact us, contact@nuevofoundation.org. I'll leave this here in case you guys want to take a photo or anything, but I know Whit also had closing reminder, so.
No, it's okay. Really quick. Thank you, America. Thank you, V, for being our guest speakers. That was wonderful. I think it's nice to see code in action, and for those students, you know, you guys can always go back and, you know, do it on your own at your own pace. But it's just keeping an open mind that, you know, it's not as intimidated as it sounds. Be open-minded, try it. It might be, you know, it might be the profession, you know, that is right for you. And if not, it's okay. It's about trying and exploring. I guess I wanted to, besides thanking our guest speakers, I just wanted to just remind the students to please sign up for next month. We have project management as a profession. And remember our mentoring circles, the deadline's October 31st. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate everybody's time and have a nice evening. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.